So when we understand this thing about exposure, we got to go back to the book of Genesis. Genesis chapter 2, verses 24 through 25. He says, therefore a man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. And they were both naked, the man and his wife, and they were not ashamed. So prior to the fall of humanity, prior to Adam and Eve, and I say Eve being deceived, and Adam being influenced, they were naked. But nakedness was not something they focused on. They focused on God. They didn't focus on their situation. They didn't focus on anything dealing with them. Their focus was God. And as long as your focus is God, then you could be naked but not even know it because that's not your focus. See, sometimes the reason why you struggle with stuff is because you focus on it too much versus focusing on God. Listen, stop focusing so much on your wife. Stop focusing so much on your husband. Focus on God. Watch your marriage get better. Spend too much time trying to fix stuff, but their focus was God. Adam's focus was God. Eve came into the picture. So when God created Adam out of the dust of the earth, he breathed the breath of life, the Ruach HaKodesh. He breathed the breath of life into Adam. And Adam opened his eyes and became a living being. The first thing Adam saw was work. Responsibility. He gave him an assignment, gave him a job. Tend and to keep, Ebed and Shamar, to work and worship. Adam had responsibilities. I tell my young ladies all the time, if you get a guy and he does not have an ability to work or desire to work, he's broken from creation. Leave him alone. I'm trying to get a job. Do you not know we got a worker shortage in America right now? Well, I'm trying to find the right job. Find a job. Well, I'm trying to find the right thing. The right thing is who's hiring you. That's the right thing. You unemployed and broke and picky. What's wrong with that? That's beneath me. Since when? You better be the best toilet cleaner on this on this side of heaven. Yeah, I'm talking about that's beneath me. So Adam, when God breathed life into Adam, Adam sees work. Eve was created from Adam. And when he took the rib of Adam and formed Eve, when Eve opened her eyes, the first thing she saw was Adam. Just stick with me. Adam's desire was for God. Eve's desire was for Adam. Adam. That's how it's pronounced in the Hebrew. It means red man made from clay. Adam. So therefore, she was like, he was good, Walter. It was him and the animals walking with God in the cool of the day. Now he introduces his helpmate / distractor at times. I'm going to leave my married couples alone. I'm going to leave all my relationship people alone this morning because some of y'all like, go there. And I'm like, nah, you ain't gonna gas me up. Listen, I know a crowd when they be trying to gas you up. You know how it is when you had them friends that be like, do it. Nah, you ain't getting me this morning. So they were both created, and they were called to be together, to leave their father and mother, and to be joined as one. You know, man of God, woman of God, you're married. You're joined as one with one another. You know, that's why you leave your mother and father's house. Which means that you don't listen to your mom and daddy for everything. You need to be listening to your spouse, and y'all need to work that out and leave everybody else out. Anyways, that's a nugget for somebody. So it says that they were not ashamed. This word ashamed is the Hebrew word bosh. And the primary meaning of bosh is to fall into disgrace through failure or lack of trust. So they didn't have any disgrace. They didn't feel like they were failures. And they didn't have a lack of trust. Why? Because they were not ashamed. Shame only came into the play once sin entered into the world. So, Yvette, prior to the fall, they were created, they were naked, but nakedness wasn't their focus. Just stick with me. As long, Kaylee, as they were submitted to God, they weren't even aware of the nakedness. Didn't mean they weren't aware of the genital differences. It does mean that wasn't the focus. Their focus was God. Just stick with me on this morning. So then what happened, Pastor? Come on, look at them and say, what happened? First, Genesis 3. Now the serpent was more cunning than any beast of the field, which the Lord God had made. So the serpent is more cunning. He is what I call specious. He's alluring. He is an angel of light. He doesn't appear like you think he's going to appear. And so serpent comes and begins to have a conversation with Eve. Now, God didn't talk to Eve. God talked to Adam. So the devil always violates order. He went to the helpmate, not to the hearer of God's word. So he goes to Eve. For those of you who have married and you have children, understand, mom, kids going to probably come to you first. But before you give them an answer, you and daddy have a conversation so y'all stay on one accord so your kids don't manipulate your household. My kids would never do that. Yes, they will. And yes, they do. He says, did God indeed say you should not eat of every tree of the garden? And the woman said to the serpent, first of all, why y'all talking? What you doing talking to this stranger? Listen, ain't nobody up here but me and you. We in covenant together under God. He's our covering. Why are you talking to somebody outside? What makes you want to even be open to having a conversation? Man, there's so many nuggets on this morning. I can't chase all these things. Married women catch him in the spirit. Says you shall. She said, we can eat the fruit of the trees of the garden, but the fruit of the tree of which is in the midst of the garden, you shall not eat it, nor shall you touch it, lest you die. The serpent said to the woman, you're not going to die. Come on. Like, for real. Like, you ain't got to go all the way. Just, you're going to die from a touch. Ain't nobody going to die from no touch. I'm not saying eat it, but just touching it, you're not going to die. Says, God knows. The day you eat of it, your eyes are going to be open, and you're going to know good and evil. So the woman saw the tree was good for food. It was pleasant to the eyes, lust of the eyes, lust of the flesh. Tree desire would make one wise, pride of life. She took of its fruit and ate. She also gave to her husband with her, and he ate. Man of God. Prophet, priest, and king of your household. Almighty warrior. First and foremost, we in our minds think that Adam was totally unaware of what was happening with Eve. Oh no, he was present. Because she turned and gave it to him. So it's not like, Adam! Woo! Come on here. Try this. No, she said. So Adam, first and foremost, if you were present when the conversation was taking place, why you said letting some other man holler at your woman? Rule number 1, broken. Rule number 2, Adam, God gave you instructions of what not to do. He never gave those instructions to Eve. He gave them to you. So now you have gotten more consumed with the relationship with her than you are the relationship with him. Because she said, turn and eat. You could have easily said, that's not what God told me. Listen, he took you out of one rib. I got more. You don't want to act right. You out here talking to these fools in the streets. You over here going behind trees, having conversations with people. Listen, cancel. God, I don't know what happened. You took the wrong rib from the wrong side, player. Listen, you took him this side. Get one from over here. This is my right side. It's my good side. Pull him over here. You messed me up over there. Could have easily said, Lord, she broken. Give me another one. That rib was cracked. Give me another. No. Instead, he partakes. He takes, eats. Now, Adam was disobedient to God. Eve's influence, because he got more consumed with the relationship with her, and instead of being under God's covering, now the influence of a woman has made the man remove from his own covering. I wish I had time to just dig deeper to really unpack this woman, because you don't understand how influential you are. You don't understand that you can be a blessing and a cursing all at the same time in your household. You don't understand how you can speak life into that man or you can speak death in that man strictly based upon the words that come out of your mouth. You don't understand that a wise woman will build up her household, but a foolish woman will tear it down with her own hands. Some of y'all need to learn how to be quiet. So Adam, it's not all Eve's fault, woman of God, because Adam could have been the man and said, we ain't doing that. But Adam said, walking with God in the cool of the day, flesh of my flesh, bone of my bone. Walking with God in the cool of the day, we're one. And we ain't never been the same since. Some of y'all are flowing with me. God comes because their eyes were open and they knew that they were naked. And since they knew they were naked, they now tried to cover themselves. The part of them Yvette before that was exposed but not viewed as being naked, now is something you're ashamed of when before you were not ashamed. Simply because now your eyes have been opened. So now I got to cover myself. Why are you trying to cover yourself? You've never covered yourself before. Why are you covering up now? What changed, woman of God? What changed, man of God? You used to be comfortable being exposed in front of me. Now you're covering yourself up. What happened? What happened in your mind to make you begin to think and see yourself differently? So God comes and says, Adam, where you at? And Adam said to him, I heard your voice in the garden. I was afraid because I was naked. And I hid myself. God said, who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten from the tree which I commanded you should not eat? See, this word ashamed involves confusion, embarrassment, delay, lack of trust. The English expression is feeling of guilt from having done something wrong. So there was a period of time where they were naked, but they didn't feel like they'd done anything wrong. But when they felt like they'd done something wrong, now they want to cover themselves. And now, for the first time, they notice things that they would not have noticed before. See, Adam didn't he didn't acknowledge his disobedience to God. They were just punished. But everything about him was internally focused. He was focused on what was best for him. And now he's afraid because he's now naked. But his nakedness is entirely normal. He's never been afraid of being naked before. So something has changed in his own consciousness, not his external circumstance. Let me say that again. Something changed in his own mind, not anything around him changed. So his declaration is consumed with that change, not with the disobedience of God's commandment. So he wasn't ashamed of being disobedient to God. He was ashamed now based upon being exposed because of who he was talking to. who he was listening to. And so now Adam looked at himself, and oftentimes we look at ourselves, and wasn't being naked because of not having any clothes. He was naked because he's been exposed now. His desires have been exposed to the light, to the light, and discovered that was not God's intention. See, sometimes we fear being naked because it confronts and condemns your own self-preoccupation. We sound crazy hiding from the omnipresent God. How do you hide from an omniscient, all-knowing, omnipresent, everywhere at the same time, omnipotent, all-powerful God? How do you hide something that he's already seen and knew you were going to do before you did it? See, you don't hide from God, you hide from the person you've become. See, I cover up what reminds me that I'm no longer the person I wanted to be. So Adam was covering up because he was no longer a good steward of the garden. And so now, since he's no longer a good steward, he's like, now I got to cover up that part that's embarrassing for me. Man, I hope I'm making sense to somebody this morning. See, the garden is reflective of what my relationship with God, and we've replaced the garden with a mirror. So now instead of looking at God, we focus on self. We're supposed to be looking at God. What does God say about me? What we say is, no, how do I see myself? What does the world around me say? What do the people in my circle say about me?